Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, we've been talking about different risks in that so far this morning, and taxes is going to be one of the things we're going to get into. But another, the bigger risk, right? We're talking about market risk, inflation, interest rate risk. There's all these different risks. Interest rates can go up and down. Interest rates, you know, right now, of course, are very, very low, so it makes it difficult, as we were talking about before the break, to put your money in real safe type things like CDs and that, and stay ahead of inflation and taxes, right? It's just not going to happen. So, and in this low interest rate environment, it almost pushes you into taking maybe even more risks than you're comfortable with. So I want to talk to you about how to reduce that down, and understanding too that one of the biggest risks, if you will, or the risk that magnifies all the other risk, is that of longevity. Okay, there was a Time magazine cover back in 2015. We'll show that to you, and this has this baby, it says, could live to be 142 years old. All right, and imagine that now. Okay, not just to, you know, we calculate, and it's funny because I have clients come in and we're doing up the original plans. Okay, when we're doing the original planning with them, all right, and we're talking about longevity, and I'll do a plan up and we'll do projections for them that'll show what's going to happen if they were to live to 100. You know, would they run out of money, in other words, or would their money start to diminish quite a bit, or would they have plenty of money? In fact, it's very valuable to know these things, right? To know your future, to know your financial future based on the decisions you're making. And I'll show them that. I'll say, okay, here's what's going to happen if you keep doing what you're doing. And then here's some strategies, here's some things that we employ all the time with my clients that can help you improve that picture to make sure you're going to be able to never worry about running out of money. Okay, and we'll take that out to age 100. And I remember one client coming in, he says, what is this age 100 thing? He says, I'm not going to live to 100. And he says, if I make 80, he says, I won't even care. I probably won't even know how much money I have by that time. Well, I see people all the time in their 80s, very vibrant, very active, very much engaged in life, and doing quite well, and you know, being able to travel and do all the things that they love to do. I had a lady in this week that's been a long-term client, and you know, last week she took her whole family to Europe for a big, you know, fun trip. And again, having the wherewithal to be able to do these things is so important in terms of your quality of life. Imagine that kind of fun, to be able to do that kind of stuff. So now think of it this way, right? We're talking to age 100, and I know a lot of you may think, well, I won't do that. Well, more and more people are, you know, with what our medical technology is like today. And as Time magazine goes into in this article, you can see people living not just to 100 or 120, but 140. Can you imagine? All right, so this goes to planning. All right, if you want to be able to, would you like to know what your financial future is based on the things you're doing today? Because I can show you that. If you'd like to be one of the first 10 callers to my office today, 615-376-5325. And actually, I'm going to extend this over the weekend as well, because I know the show will be over the weekend. So if you call the office, 615-376-5325, even over the weekend, we have, you know, a service that'll take your calls, and we'll be sure to get back to you on Monday morning and get out a packet to you. We can schedule a time for you. But basically, I do a free retirement income analysis. That's a comprehensive financial plan. We look at your investments. We talk about Social Security. We talk about taxes. We can get into estate planning. All the different things that you need to be concerned about. How to get the most money, you know, the best rate of returns with the least amount of risk and volatility, and minimize taxes at the same time. We get into all of that. And this is the thing, you know, think about it. How long are you planning for your money to last? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the fact you could be living, you know, 20, 30 years or more in retirement without paychecks, and needing to use the money that you've saved to be able to make up that difference? And how much income will you need from your retirement accounts to be able to attain and maintain your standard of living? In other words, to pay your bill and do the fun things that you want to do at the same time. Do all the things that you would like to do. So if you've got do you have a plan for that? If you don't, come see me and I'll help you develop one at no charge. 615-376-5325. Show you the type of work we can do, the type of strategies we employ with our clients, the type of stuff I talk about all the time on the show each and every week. But for you personally, putting which strategies will work best for you, how to maximize your income, how to minimize taxes, and all those things that are going to help you maximize your income and hold on to what you have. So again, 615-376-5325, first 10 callers, give my office a call. Test the standbys, get your information today, and we'll get a packet out to you. And when you come in to see me, all right, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. And in that book, I cover all the different things that I've been doing in practice. You know, one of the things, being in business for 30 years, is you learn a bit if you stick around, okay? And I can bring that knowledge, that experience to bear. It's like, you know, one of the things of making mistakes over the years too, and learning through those mistakes, is how we gain that knowledge, that wisdom to be able to do better. And so at this time, a lot of that, and I put in the book as well, in terms of the planning process in the first couple of chapters, IRA mastery, how to minimize taxes on your retirement accounts. Chapter 4 rather, is on safe money. There are a lot of safe money strategies beyond just savings, checkings, money markets, CDs, fixed annuities. There are other things out there as well. And then how the smart money invests, we talk about all the different rules around modern portfolio theory and how to maximize your returns on your investments at the same time minimizing risk. And then chapter 6 is on long-term care. This is an area that, you know, healthcare costs in retirement is one of those areas you really need to have a plan for as well, because that can get quite expensive, long-term care being one of those. And there are ways that you can cover that risk that does not necessarily mean just long-term care insurance. That's just one of many ways to do it. There are a lot of different strategies that don't involve that. And of course, chapter 7 is on estate planning, understanding the differences when it comes to the 5 essential documents that make up a good, the foundation of a good estate plan. And that would be like your power of attorney for assets, power of attorney for health care, revocable living trust, pour over will. All of these things are important for you to have the plan that you want. All right. And that gives you all the different things that I just covered. The things I cover in the book are the same things we cover in the planning. Excuse me. So one of the things that we're going to get into now has to do with retirement income. So when we're talking about retirement income, how do you maximize that? So let's take a look at sources of retirement income. And I'm going to get a drink. Get that tickle gone. All right. So let's look on this slide. There you go. IRAs, retirement accounts, pensions, Social Security. One of the things there that we're looking at when it comes to source of retirement income also has to do with how to make those monies last. Now, what do you notice about these that is a common thread? Excuse me. One of them is they're all taxable income, or potentially are. Social Security, there's something called a provisional income formula, and I'll get into that a little later, but it has to do with how much of your Social Security benefits could be taxed. Then we have pensions. Pensions are going to be taxed to you, right? That's going to be taxable income. IRAs and retirement accounts, and there are other potential sources of income. Maybe you're working in retirement. Wages, of course, are going to be taxable. Maybe you have rental property, and you're going to have rental property income or rental income from in retirement. How the taxes work for that. Understanding how you can, and maybe you have not just IRAs and retirement accounts, but maybe other types of investment accounts, and the tax treatment of those we'll get into as well when we talk about the difference between ordinary income tax rates and capital gains rates. All of these different things, you can see there are so many things that you're going to be dealing with in retirement that are going to be so important to understand the different rules for them. So for instance, on just these 3 types of income alone, let's talk more about those. Your pension, as I mentioned, 100% taxable. IRA distributions, we're talking traditional IRAs, and this would be the same if you've got money still at an old employer in a 401k or a 403b or a 457 or a TSP, your thrift savings plan. All of those, if they're the traditional ones, right, are going to be taxed at ordinary income tax rates. Now, the exception would be if you have some Roth accounts. If you have Roth IRAs, Roth 401k, Roth TSP, then yes, there you're going to have some tax-free distributions. How to blend these together in terms of your retirement income plan, we're going to talk about more, because there's some great strategies that can be employed to minimize taxes if you understand the tax system on that. And that's going to maximize your dollars and make sure they last longer, and you're going to have more money over time rather than less. Social Security benefits, they can be taxed at up to 85%. Okay? Now there are some strategies you can employ, of course, that can help minimize, even with higher income levels, that can help minimize taxes on your Social Security depending on other resources that you have, and we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Now one of the things when it comes to pensions is we know that pensions basically are fading away, and that's what this graph shows. If you look back to 1998, at that time the amount of people that had pensions compared to the amount today, you know, as I said, pensions are going the way of compact discs and iPods. After the 2008 crash, many, in fact, of the Fortune 500 companies figured it was too expensive to continue to provide these. In fact, I've got clients coming in today that have had pensions even for 5, 10, 15 years or more, and out of the blue, the company may come back to them and say, hey, we will offer you a lump sum buyout of that pension, okay, and we'll offer them, and you know, we do an analysis for them. Does that make sense or not? But pensions, fewer people have pensions, and this actually goes back, we're looking at a 20-year period here, but it actually goes back into the mid to late 70s when the Tax Revenue Act of '78 and ERISA were passed. And through these were the creation of retirement accounts. IRAs, 401ks, and all that came out of that and started to get implemented in the 80s, which coincided, by the way, and not coincidentally, with the rise of the mutual fund industry at that same time. And this brought us to where we're at today, where we now have, I think it's less than 50 or less than 20% rather of people working in the workforce today are going to have a pension. And pensions, even those that have pensions, they're much smaller pensions than what they were 20 or 30 years ago. So one of the things when it comes to understanding this, why is this important to you, is if you are one that has a pension, understanding the taxation of that pension money and how those pension dollars are going to impact your Social Security dollars as well, and potentially cause those to be taxed, and what kind of planning strategies can be implemented to help minimize that. We're going to talk about that more when we come back from a break. So join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.